on their writing journey. Today we have a very special guest, Miss Prasanna, who has recently published 101 Verses of Vēmana, which is a contemporary translation of the works of the great 17th century Telugu poet and Saint Vēmana. Through this book, she brings Vēmana's profound wisdom to a modern audience while preserving the essence of his poetry. Miss Prasanna, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Good evening and hello Kashyap. Likewise, thank you for having me on your first debut podcast show. It's a pleasure and I hope we're able to get out a nice podcast and a video interview with this effort of yours.
Yes.
So his name is Vēmana. He was called, he's actually referred to as Mahayogi Vēmana. And Vēmana, I personally think is like what Shakespeare is to English. I believe Vēmana is for the Telugu language. And he's known as a poet saint. So basically, he didn't write it or intend it to be poetry. But he would just come up with the small three-liner, four-liner insights of which is there is my favorite, and the reason why I chose Vēmana to translate in the first place is because of two aspects of which I really love is the wit and wisdom that he brings in all his verses as such.
So personally, why do you feel that like kids of like such as my age or like older teenagers or young adults should like know this man and they should like pay importance to his poetry as well?
Yes, so the thing is particularly oral traditions which are no longer as a book and in print is what excited me to look at saying how can I dig into more of these, and also the fear saying that I hear my mother, aunts, maybe a generation before me, and of course 2 generations, my grandparents, and there is this body of knowledge they know, and then there is this FOMO, fear of missing out, saying if I'm not able to learn what is out there, I think I may be losing out. And that's how the trigger lies there on saying that I was relating to myself and people like me who speak Telugu. I wanted to do justice to the poem also, so translating it to English had to do full justice and get to the depth of understanding. Sure. So if you give me a minute going through the book here, I mean most of them are my favorites. I would say 80% of them would bring a smile onto my face every time I read it, but let me pick one. In fact, his most popular one, which if a child would start learning Vēmana poetry, the first one that anyone would introduce him to goes like this. Please allow me to read it.
Yeah.
It says, Gangigovu palu, garitadaina jalu, kadabadaina nemi karamu palu, bhakti galuga kudu, pattadaina chalu, vishwadabhirama vinuravema. So word by word, it means that, from the gentle cow, a ladle full of milk suffices. A tiny small ladle of milk is enough. What worth is a potful from a donkey? For when offered with love, even a mere handful satiates. So it is basically comparing, quality, and if you give something with love and affection, a little bit is enough. You don't have to really get give a pot full of milk from a donkey, something that none of us appreciate. So yes, this is one of my favorites, and also a very, very popular verse of Vēmana. Gangi Go Upalu has also become like a kind of an idiom. Many people use it like how we use Shakespeare's language in everyday Telugu as such.
So what like I understood like from like what you've been telling me over like these past few months is that his like poetry, it often like carried deep philosophical insights, however through like simple words. So do you think like his like simplicity makes his poetry like more powerful?
Yes, it has made it, I'm sure, I believe it would have made it very, very accessible to the common man during that milieu, like 17th century. Not many people were educated. I don't think there was a concept of literacy and education, literacy, all these things were available only to the elite learned families. So this is like a commentary which he would pass out to any layman as such. Though today it has become literature and his words are tough to decipher and understand. But in those days, it was very, very accessible and something which struck a chord with the common man is how I'm perceiving it at this stage. Yes, far behind. We are in the times of WhatsApp language and emojis and right. UKR is right. IKR is I know right. So things have become really short and
Yeah.
bite sized. But I think we cannot say that poetry would lose its charm or has lost its charm. So for everyday communication, people use language which is very, very quick and easy. But at the same time, poetry holds its space, it holds its place when you have to convey something which touches someone deeply. When it is emotion that you want to convey to people, poetry does hold its place, and I'm hoping that it doesn't really go away from our education system also.
Yeah. So, if Venama were like alive today, what?
So I think some of his poems really go towards spirituality and the deeper meaning, and they talk about how not to be superficial, and there's commentary on social things, on how me promote the book and my writing journey. So I think we have embarked on two parallel journeys, and wishing both of us luck.
So that brings us to the end of today's episode. If you are interested in timeless wisdom wrapped in beautiful poetry, please do check out 101 Verses of Vēmana. And thank you all for listening. And we will be back soon next time for another inspiring conversation. Until next time, thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you, Kashyap. Thank you, listeners.